Hey, what's going on, guys? James here with a video upload on my home server IT cabinet. And yeah, this is basically well, you could utilize it for almost anything that's the, your standard rack mount issue gear, but this is an APC net shelter unit, but it's got the full depth, full 36 inches deep, which is great because a lot of these smaller cabinets, this one here is a 25U, did not go have the full depth, which made it not really utilizable for myself. I needed something that was full depth, as well as not, a full height IT cabinet. The 42U would not have gotten down the stairs. So unfortunately, I was limited to this, but at the same time, it was kind of a blessing because even with this thing being half height, it was still an absolute beast to get down the stairs. I had to take it all apart and reassemble it again. Anyways, everything is completely metal on this. No plastic. I've seen a lot of these. They would have either, a piece of glass, well, plexiglass, whatever, or they would have this metal grating, but it would be just tack welded in the side, really cheap-wise. And that really wasn't secure, in my opinion. You could just, boot it a couple of times, and those crappy little welds, they would have just snapped immediately. This entire door is one piece. There is absolutely no welds on this thing holding this together. It is just one solid piece of metal, which is fantastic for the ventilation grating. But yeah, we'll go over into the good part here. Guess we'll start off with the top. Everything is fully vented, which is great. I don't have to worry about the ceiling of this cabinet holding in a bunch of heat. There's plenty of ventilation on the top as well. You can see this side plus another one in the back. So that's great. So I'm not worried at all. And being in a basement, this thing stays really, really chilly. Alrighty, first up here we have the Alienware Alpha. This is for Steam games, Epic Game Store, that kind of thing. Basically anything PC gaming. This is ready to go and ready to go for online streaming. Next up I have the Mac Mini 2011 server. This thing is like nearing 10 years old, and this thing's still kicking. I haven't had to do any maintenance on it whatsoever. It's actually been a pretty solid beast. If I need to get access to the server, got myself, pull up the tray here. Screen attached. This is for the Mac Mini server. Anything that I need to do on it, I don't have to run upstairs or terminal into it from something else. I can remote manage this obviously, but I got the screen sitting around here. I might as well just toss it in and use that. So that's pretty nice for convenience. It's actually been a few times I've been down here like, well, I don't have any other systems on. I just pull open the cabinet, rip open the screen, and I can do what I need to do on that little box in the corner there. See, for live streaming, again, this whole cabinet is meant for live streaming video games. It's calling it a server cabinet, I'm not really utilizing it for that, but it's serving a purpose to keep everything nice and tidy, cable managed. I got the Xbox One. This is the old fatty, but it still works, so I might as well use it. Yeah, just pull out the controller, and I got plenty of ventilation there. You wouldn't think it just by looking on camera, but it's what, about half a hand or so height before this piece here. And I've run this thing for 3-4 hours at a time, and there's no heat issues whatsoever. It's never given me a problem. I can stick my hand right in here, and I barely feel any toast coming off of this. Like I said, in the basement, everything stays nice and chilly, which is great. That was actually most of the reason for me wanting to put this down here. The keyboard tray, as I said, this goes obviously with the screen there. I just didn't put it right below that because ergonomically this made more sense for typing comfortably. The original PlayStation 4, this was launch day one. Surprisingly, it's still going too. Never gave me a problem. Again, just pull out a controller, good to go. Immediately I can get online with this stuff without any fuss and muss. This is the Alienware Alpha. This is my main gaming rig. I think this is what, 8th gen i7 or something? Yeah, something like that. 8th gen i7. It's got like 32 gigs of RAM. It's the king beast for doing that kind of live streaming. An old Mac Pro. This, oh goodness, I couldn't even I don't remember the year of this one. I think it might be 2009 or 2010. Super cheap that I got this thing, but yeah, still working. If I need to render massively large files through Final Cut, this is the beast that I'll throw it on and just let this chug away at it while I go and do something else. And I'll move around to the back. Little UPS is actually, I'd love to get a big one. Don't really have the funds for it at the moment, but see if I get display on here. It's got plenty of juice in it for what's running in here, because just because this whole rack is plugged in, all this equipment's not running 24/7. But anyways, up at the top here we have cable management. This is for all power cables, all the you know, wads of it that I got nowhere to put. It just neatly tucks into this little, I guess you'd call it a little cubby or box on a magnet, which is really nice. But yeah, very nice and tidy for cable management. Then we got all my power on a PDU. I tried to label everything right here. Really, you know, garbage little labels. I need to figure out something better than this in the future, but just to get this built, I just made up these tiny little tags just so I know exactly what power goes to what. And it's all, you know, running through the sides. Tried to keep it as tidy as possible. And we have the Keystone punch panel. So this is all the different consoles and the PC. So, you know, Alienware Alpha, then the Switch, Xbox One, all that kind of deal. And the Switch, sadly, is sharing a spot with what I call retro, and I'll get to that at the end. But yeah, so anytime that I want to switch something, it would have been obviously pretty nice if I could have gotten a powered switch for the HDMI. Not in the cards yet, so this had to do. It was really a lot more affordable. But you know, it's on Xbox One for right now. I want to switch to the PS4. It's literally moving over the cable one spot, and I'm able to stream the PS4. It's automatically going to be going into my Elgato HD60. So there's absolutely no fuss and muss. It takes me literally just a few seconds. Boom, okay, I want to stream the Switch. There's the Switch ready to go. All the network ports, everything's labeled. Like I said, I needed to know what goes to what so that if I ever need to troubleshoot anything in the future. Some USB extensions. Those are, it's USB 3 going into the back of these, but these are only USB 2 cables right now. But that's all I need going out at this time. But I did future-proof the other end of this as USB 3. And then the TV out, which is USB in the corner there. Don't know if that'll show on the camera too well. The Mac Pro, that is the video out for the Mac Pro. And I've got Switch, and there's a blank spot here. And what's going to go here is, oh goodness, I forget what you call that thing off the top of my head. Brain farting. Where you plug in all the old consoles, and then it upgrades it or outputs it to HDMI. I'm going to be getting one of those. What I was using for a long time was this gimmicky little box here, and it was working for a while, but it's starting to get flaky. So I'm going to get one of the more expensive ones. I think the one that I'm looking at is around 200 bucks Canadian. So that's a little bit on the back burner too, but you know, that will eventually be coming. And once I get that, the specific one I'm looking at supports components. So I got the component cables for the Super Nintendo, got component cables for the Sega Genesis. So, you know, and then I got component cables for like the original Xbox, things like that. All of that can, as I need it, just throw it on top here. Great, there's the console. I have cable management through the top of this thing. I can just run the cables through, run the power through, all the way into here. So when I get that box here, that'll be fine. And I've got the another power bar here, so if I need to put in anything such as the Super Nintendo, you know that's like a giant brick. Well, the giant brick isn't going to be utilizable up here. It's not going to fit. So worst case scenario, I can just pull out the Switch, and I can immediately plug in the Super Nintendo, the Genesis, what have you. It's going to be no problem. I don't have to fight with any, you know, power blocks and any of that. It's going to be literally seconds, and I can just swap it in there, no problem. Then we got the NAS. Oh, goodness. That's obviously just a ton of network storage. All the cables for everything that's going out and in is right here in this spot. So goes all the way up, and you'll see the blue cable there that goes to the internet coming in. We got the gray, that one there leads to the upstairs, and then everything else runs over to the TV. And basically from here everything's just ready and accessible. Alienware Aurora, boom. If I need to use the Mac Pro, there's the mouse and keyboard for that. This is for the Alienware Alpha. Just want to keep things super easy, quick access, ready to go. Anyways, that is what my home network streaming cabinet looks like. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Catch you next time.